Good morning, sixth graders. Please flip to the part in your packet that we did yesterday, this rage exit ticket. Depending on what class you're in or where the teacher was at, you may have feedback, you may not. Either way, no one's as perfect, and we're going to redo this today. You may see a grade on there that you don't like. Now is your opportunity to redo that exit ticket and get a much stronger grade today. You are going to be rewriting it in the back of your packet, that last page. But first, follow along here. So first, let's do a quick reminder. What is a rage? Okay, and why do we use rages? So what is the actual G, give evidence, supposed to do and have? And then how about this E? What does that explain evidence really mean? Okay, so now that we have that down, let's take a look at this because we don't just get rages, a grade at 1 through 4 if we have each. Our rage scores are out of 10 to make sure we really kind of do a good job with each one. A couple things to focus on. When we give evidence, don't just put it in the text, use a sentence frame. So you can say something like, for example, in the text it says, or I know this because in the text it says. What other things work as a sentence frame for introducing your evidence? Okay, and then also make sure your evidence relates to your answer. So whatever your answer is to the question, what text structure does the author use to develop her claim? Whatever your answer was to that, whatever stuff you're putting in from the text better show me that your answer is correct. And it always has to be a direct quote, which means that it's in quotation marks. And of course, you say where you got it from. The explaining evidence has been the trickiest part for most of us. I'm going to break that down for us today as we go through it. So let's read this right here. Annotate your question prompt. In Hinduism and Buddhism, what is the author's claim? So I'm going to annotate the word claim because I know that claim means argument. So it's like, all right, what is the author actually arguing is true in here? Write the word argument above claim. And then which text structure? So I know when we're talking about text structures, we're talking about organization. So I'm going to annotate that and write the word organization. And then even write down the 4, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution. Sorry, I'm just abbreviating them. And then order a sequence. Which text structure does the author use to develop her claim? So we annotate these prompts so we have a much stronger idea of what we're being asked. So let's go ahead back and take a look at your text, Hinduism and Buddhism. What is the main actual argument or point that the author is making here? Yeah, the author is just sort of making the argument that Hinduism and Buddhism have many similarities and many differences. So that sentence is how you should start your rage. Flip to the back page, write this down. Okay, but I know there's a second part that we have to answer too. Which text structure does the author use to develop her claim? So I know when we're talking text structure, we're looking at these 4 options. Go ahead and jot down, annotate somewhere, which text structure does the author use to develop that claim that they're similar and different in here. Yeah, so the author is making the text structure the author uses to develop that claim is compare and contrast. So right now, the top of your rage should look like this. The author claims that Hinduism and Buddhism have many similarities and differences. Okay, that answers the first part of the question. And the next part of it, the text structure that the author uses to develop that claim is compare and contrast. That is the text structure they choose. So right there, you have your R and your A. Okay, let's go into a little bit of detail about the G. What is the G again? Okay, so when I'm looking for evidence, I want to find evidence that supports this answer. So I'm looking through the text to find what clues support the fact and will show my reader that this is a compare and contrast piece. And I know that because I learned all this great compare contrast vocabulary, that would be great evidence if I could find it in the text. So go ahead through the text, try and find evidence that shows that this is a compare contrast piece using those keywords. Okay, welcome back. So of course, before you give that evidence, you should start with a sentence starter. So add one of those sentence frames that says, I know this because in the text it says, or you can say, for example, in paragraph 3, it reads, or the article Hinduism and Buddhism states that. Okay, these are different ways to introduce your evidence. Make sure that whenever you're putting the title in there also, you have quotation marks around it. And then once you have introduced your evidence as part of your G, actually put it in there. And of course, whatever you're writing should be in quotation marks, and you should somewhere say where you got it. If you use this sentence frame, then it already kind of puts it in there. But if not, then make sure that you put what paragraph you found it in. So go ahead and find evidence, introduce it with one of these or one of your own, and then make sure the actual evidence you choose is showing me that this is a compare contrast paragraph. Okay, so now the E, and also I broke it up into this chart. Yours shouldn't look like a chart. Yours is obviously just a written paragraph on the back page. So now that we're going to the E, let's revisit what an E actually does. You really want this to push your answer to a deeper level. So just by stating, I know it's compare contrast because it uses the word also. That doesn't really help me understand it better. I want you to take a look right now at whatever evidence you actually put in here, and then tell me why you chose that evidence. Use one of these sentence starters. I chose this evidence because it shows, or this is strong evidence because, or this evidence really demonstrates that. And think, I want you to, this E is really you telling me why you chose this evidence. You are connecting whatever you chose to your answer, to the fact that it's compare and contrast. So if you're looking at those keywords, tell me that those are keywords and compare contrast, and they really demonstrate similarities and differences. Even explain where they are in the text. If you have completely redone this on your back page, please do me a huge favor and write just above it or next to it or something, exit ticket redo, so I can see that on the back. Take out your reading book when you are done. If you are confused by this at all, you need to restart the video.